She laughed when they asked how we met. Actually laughed and said, "I don't even remember. It wasn't important." That was the moment something inside me cracked, right there under the office party lights, with a drink sweating in my hand and strangers smiling at me like I was part of the joke. My name is Daniel Mercer. I'm 38 years old. I work as a civil engineer in Denver. I had been married to my wife, Lauren, for 11 years at that point. We'd been together long enough that love had turned quiet. Not dead, just procedural. Mornings ran on autopilot. Coffee brewed. She checked her phone. I tied my tie. Evenings were parallel lives on the same couch. Her laptop. My emails. No fights. No passion. Just efficient silence. The office party was supposed to be a reset. Lauren insisted I come. "Everyone's bringing their spouses," she said, already half distracted, scrolling through messages. I rented a suit, bought a bottle of wine, practiced small talk in my head like a nervous intern. Her office was downtown, all glass and exposed brick. The kind of place where people wear confidence like a tailored jacket. Lauren transformed there. Straighter posture, louder laugh. She moved through the room like she belonged to it in a way she never did at home. I stood beside her, smiling when appropriate, nodding when spoken to. She introduced me as Daniel, never my husband. I noticed, pretended not to. Then one of her co-workers, tipsy, friendly, asked how we met. Lauren waved her hand dismissively. "God, I don't even remember. College, I think. It wasn't some big love story." People chuckled. I felt my face heat up. We met at a bus stop during a snowstorm. I offered her my gloves. She still had them. Or at least, she used to. Later, someone joked about work spouses. Lauren laughed too hard. "Yeah, I basically live here anyway." Another laugh. Another small cut. The final one came when her boss raised a glass and said, "Lauren's basically married to this place." She clinked her drink and said, "Honestly, sometimes I think I picked the wrong marriage." That time, she looked straight at me. I left early. Told her I had a headache. She barely noticed. At home, the silence felt heavier. I sat at the kitchen table long after midnight, replaying every moment, every laugh. I wasn't angry yet, just shrunk. The discovery came 3 days later, by accident. Her laptop chimed while she was in the shower. A message preview popped up. One name I didn't recognize. I can't stop thinking about that night. "You deserve more than what you're settling for." I didn't dig. I didn't scroll like a detective. I just stared at the sentence until my hands started shaking. When she came out, towel on her head, humming, I asked calmly, "Who's Marcus?" She froze, just for half a second. But I saw it. "A co-worker," she said, too fast. "Why?" "Because he says you deserve more than what you're settling for." She didn't deny it. She sighed, sat down across from me, like this was overdue. "We didn't plan for it to happen," she said. "It just did." "What did?" I asked. "The connection." I waited for the apology. It didn't come. "You humiliated me," I said quietly, "at your party." She shrugged. "You're too sensitive." That word hit harder than confession. "Are you sleeping with him?" I asked. She hesitated, long enough to answer. "Yes." I nodded. I surprised myself with how still I was. Why stay married to me, then? Her eyes were cold, almost bored. "Because you're stable. You make life easy. Marcus is complicated. So I'm convenient." She didn't argue. The next morning, I didn't beg, didn't shout. I went to work, messed up calculations I'd done 100 times before, stared at my screen like it belonged to someone else. At lunch, I sat in my car and cried so hard my chest hurt. That was my turning point. Not dramatic, just empty. I realized I'd been auditioning for my own marriage for years, trying to be chosen by someone who had already checked out. That night, I told her I was leaving. She looked shocked. "You're overreacting." "No," I said. "I'm reacting appropriately." I moved into a small apartment across town. It smelled like fresh paint and loneliness. The first weeks were brutal. I'd wake up reaching for a phone that never buzzed. I'd remember jokes no one would hear. But something else happened too. I stopped explaining myself. When friends asked what happened, I didn't defend her. I didn't villainize her either. I just told the truth. She didn't respect me. I forgot to respect myself. The divorce was clean, quiet. She kept the house. I kept my dignity. Months later, I ran into one of her co-workers at a coffee shop. He hesitated, then said, "You handled that whole thing really well." I smiled. It was the first time it felt real. I don't hate Lauren. I don't wish her misery. I just no longer accept invisibility as the price of love. If there's a lesson here, it's this. Humiliation doesn't always come from cruelty. Sometimes it comes from familiarity, without care. And the bravest thing you can do is leave the room where your worth is treated like a punchline, even if you once called it home.